Casual Nerdity is a podcast celebrating and discussing the pop culture that we love. Movies, TVs, comics, books, games, you name it. Our aim is to talk about the good, what worked, and yeah, sometimes what didn't. All with an eye towards building up, not tearing down. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome back to Casual Nerdity, everybody. As always, I'm Daryl, and I'm joined by Nick, who's always here.
Yep.
Say hi, Nick.
Howdy.
And our frequent contributor, Betsy, is back. Yay!
Woo!
And we have two very special guests who are coming. Well, one is coming back. We have Scott and Brev from the Movie Defenders podcast. Both wonderful
Greetings.
friends of ours. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Greetings, exalted ones.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just pulled a Nick and fell asleep. I'm sorry. Are we recording or?
And I've only heard the legends, so
I love you, Nick.
yes.
But I had to.
Yeah.
happy to be
It's okay,
here.
this isn't how we roll, so we don't have to stop now.
Nice.
All seriousness, Daryl and Stephanie have been a very, very large and important member of the Movie Defender community. There's been nobody that supported our show like what we do from nearly the jump. And anyway, it's a pleasure to return the favor, my friend.
And it's a pleasure to speak with you guys again because we did an episode before, and that was amazing.
We did.
Even though I was like incredibly nervous when that happened.
I kept telling him there was no need to be nervous.
That Transformers 1 episode that we did was awesome.
It was awesome. Yes. Yeah. I bought that thing in 4K right after that. Right after that.
Oh,
show.
it's such an underrated gem. Hasbro and Hasbro and the entire marketing team fumbled that bag.
100%.
I don't think they knew what they had. I really don't. I don't think they understood. But
I
that's
haven't
another show.
I haven't seen a marketing fumble like that on an animated movie since The Iron Giant.
Yeah, no, fair. They marketed it as a comedy, and yes, it was, but that's not what the point of that movie was. And I thought it was going to be like the Minions, and it had a lot more heart and substance to it.
It had like performances, I wasn't even worried about like the fact that it had so many top name like non-voice actors in the group. It's like, no, they put everything into that.
Yeah, Hasbro has so far.
Chris Hemsworth, those two could be the future of those voice acting roles of these legendary voice actors, Frank Welker and Peter Cullen, respectively. Those two actors that play the characters in that, they could be those characters. They literally evolved their voices for the arc to make it work, and it's like, yeah. That's them. It's them.
I'm just watching Hasbro and just shaking my head because I'm looking at that movie. I'm looking at Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, and I'm just like, why even bother with the G.I. Joe movie that I really want to see written by what's his name,
Danny McBride?
Because I'm like, you're just gonna fumble it at the marketing, so it's gonna be a good flick. We're all gonna like it, and they're just gonna we don't know what to do.
They fumbled their biggest bag ever with the latest generation of My Little Pony, which they had a major success in the past decade. Fumbled that completely as well. Whoever's running Hasbro is like not doing a good job.
Yeah, at least the marketing side. Yep.
Yeah, they could be printing money right now, and yet
They are just fumbling every bag that they have.
And they're fumbling it all over the place. They're fumbling it with print, RPG D&D. They're fumbling it with Magic. They're just, come on.
Honestly, it just seems like Hasbro is just like dropping the ball where it had so much potential in the 2020s. It had everything going into it, and then it's like threw it all away.
It's like this is more of a how we roll subject, but they're talking going bookless for D&D.
Yeah, it's like PlayStation. Sony announced that they're going to have no more physical games. Yeah,
and that same thing with GTA 6 also said that they're going to go disc. It's like you had everyone ready.
Yep.
And you fumbled it.
I know
But
it's
if
an
we give them
expensive
physical
part.
media, we can't take it away later while already taking their money.
Maybe I know it's a giant expense, but yeah, no, I get it.
It's just
Well,
like
we're not
we're
here
not
to
going to talk about
relitigate
fumbles.
Hasbro's just complete ineptitude at marketing. We're here to talk about Evil Dead Burn, the newest chapter in one of horror's most legendary franchises. We're going to kick things off as usual with a completely spoiler-free discussion, our overall impressions, what stood out, whether we think it's worth checking out, that kind of thing. Then we'll give you a clear spoiler warning before we dive into the story, characters, scares, and all the blood-soaked details. So grab your boomstick
And appropriate power tool.
and try not to read anything bound in human skin. So let's get into Evil Dead Burn.
Actually, I believe our contributor Betsy has something to say before we dive in, and you have plenty to say in general, but take it away.
Yeah, this is just something I want to do because I feel like it's important. So, just before we get started, some quick housekeeping, specifically content warnings, because we are going to discuss some heavy, potentially triggering subjects, including intimate partner violence, domestic abuse, including physical harm, verbal abuse, and emotional abuse, animal death, on screen depictions of attempted self harm, on screen depictions of PTSD flashbacks, violence, death, blood, gore, machine safety compliance violations, and more death. So, do whatever you got to do to take care of yourself. These warnings will all be in the description too. Hey, Daryl, put the warnings in the description, please, and thank you. Oh, also, if any of the heavy stuff we talk about resonates with you or someone you know, there's also going to be some resources in the description as well. Hey, Daryl, put those in the description too, thanks. Okay, I'm done.
You're done. So first we will dive
And
into
Nancy
our
wrote that first, yeah. But thank you very much for that.
we'll dive into our non-spoiler discussion.
Groovy.
All right. Now, I just put this at the top of the notes because since I know that we've all only seen this once because it just came out this weekend and it was a busy weekend, I put in a quick primer for us to remember who's who. And so for the audience out there, we have Will or William, they call him both in the movie, who's the abusive husband of Alice. He's the brother to Joseph, and he's the son of Edgar and Susan. Then we have Alice, who's Will's wife, Joseph, who's Will's brother, who is an aspiring writer who seems to leave project unfinished. I feel attacked. What about you, Brev?
I am
Yeah,
feel attacked.
So I've published some things, so I don't feel as attacked, but I did feel a little bit like, oh, I recognize this character.
I am field attacked. I haven't published anything.
It's of course I know him. He's me.
Well, sometimes. Yep. Sometimes
have-
it's me. Mhm.
We have Thea, Joseph's girlfriend, Edgar, who's Will and Joseph's father, Susan, who's their mother, and Polly, Susan's mother, Will and Joseph's grandmother, probably the
Greatest
biggest
of all
scene
time.
stealer in the movie.
I was going to say
Polly
favorite
is the
character
greatest
hands
of all
down.
time. Yep.
So, not to tangent, but Scott just watched Obsession. I watched it. So far, I think I've got my Movie Defender award for best lead actress. Polly is making a strong push for best supporting actress from this movie. She's great.
Which one's that?
The grandma.
Oh yeah. For me, it was who is the one that was the deadite most of the film? The
Thea?
one with the seat in her face.
Thea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She fucking
She was a close second.
crushed it.
She's a close
I thought
second
she
for
did.
me.
I thought she was so good. Anyway.
Yeah. I think they're my
if
two
I had to be
favorite
honest, like,
characters. So yeah.
Full cast was like outside of characters when most of the cast becomes deadites. When they become deadites, they are killing it as those roles.
Oh yeah. Although I half jokingly commented, Brev will remember this from when we walked out of the theater Friday night. The actor playing Joseph, every time I saw him, I kept expecting him to be Jack Quaid.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Wait.
I just had a very Jack Quaid vibe out of him.
I mean, I think it's the hair.
Maybe.
Also,
Maybe,
just kind of
I
a general demeanor.
Yeah. Very Jack Quaid.
Either way,
Like, you could
what
replace him with Jack Quaid and, like, no one would really notice.
Right. But Jack Quaid already did his his big horror franchise turn a couple of years ago in Scream, not Scream
Yeah.
5, Scream 5.
Yeah.
So my initial thoughts, this was the first Evil Dead that I've actually seen in the theater, and it was pretty much what I expected out of an Evil Dead movie. I do kind of miss a little bit of the whimsy of the Raimi and Campbell days when Evil Dead was made on a shoestring and they used the goofiness to sort of call out the cheapness as a feature, not a bug. But, that's neither here nor there.
This is actually my second Evil Dead in theaters. I didn't see Rise in theaters, but did see the remake by Fede Alvarez, who has gone on to do Alien Romulus. Amazing film. But and felt this continued with the grit and gore of both Rise and remake, but also has that kinship with the original that you were talking about, the whimsy, the comedy, the camp, the outlandishness that makes Evil Dead more than your typical demonic possession, regular scary fic. Like you said, Daryl, the original had goof in its DNA, and this one has some mirth and hilarity, and with tackle, but while even tackling more grounded themes of evil beyond those summoned by Lovecraftian eldritch tomes.
Yeah, and something that Brev said as we were leaving the theater, I didn't really care about the characters, but the more I sat with the movie, the more I'm not sure that I'm supposed to.
Yeah, that's true. I struggled
Because,
with it. That's yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say like that was one of the things that when I was watching this movie, I was like, everybody's kind of an asshole, and I or a wimp or whatever, except for really Alice and Thea. I think they were, caught up in. Now that I'm thinking about this is a movie that my wife and sister-in-law do not need to watch because they probably look at it and be like, yeah, see, this is your family right here, boys. Talking to me and Tyler. This is exactly your fucking family. Dinner table conversations are the same thing. But yeah, that was the struggle I had. That whole family, I was ready for them all to die. Like, except Polly, who's my hero. But everybody else, I was like, yeah, fuck all these people. They're terrible people. Like, ugh.
Oh no,
Yeah.
trust me. I feel that this will definitely, especially once we get to certain scenes and characters, people. It is very real. Like, but there are moments of like that camp and over the topness from the classics, but it also has a very much grounded base on the characters, for better or worse.
Because what came to me as I was thinking about it is that both the 2013 not remake and Evil Dead Rise gave us some reason to empathize with the protagonists of them, but with Burn,
even with the quote unquote antagonists of the film, we understood where they're coming from.
Well, we were rooting for the final. We were rooting for the final girl. I mean, that was the point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but it's like,
and in others, we were rooting for more than just the final girl. So I get it. Like, it wasn't that we wanted them all gone, but
the victims, victims were victims in those movies,
right?
In this case, it's like
they were all just victims, right? I get it.
Yeah, and so kind of a way that I put it is, I didn't write it down in the notes, but in 2013 in Rise, we had reason to empathize with the protagonists. In Burn, we sympathize with Alice, but we don't really empathize with her, if you catch the slight distinction there. But I think
that, but that can be better explained in the spoiler section, but you're right.
Yeah. But see, I think that we're supposed to just feel like we're dropped in to a particular turning point in these characters' lives as an unspoken secret, and there are several of them, explodes all of the relationships and all of their common everyday petty grievances, which Alice's aren't petty, to be clear, but they're not really made any grander by the evil that's unleashed. They're just made nastier.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was totally thinking the same thing. It's like, all of the family, they just kind of like suck, but in these completely understandable, like entirely mundane ways. Because, like, it's not that they're bad people or anything, but it's because they're just, like people. Because it's kind of weird, honestly. It's like in their, relative shallowness where we're not really like given this much to dig into them. It's like they actually do a lot to kind of embody the complexity of dealing with human beings because, as people, we're just like that. We're messy and obnoxious and, have all these issues and problems that we bring out at the most inopportune times, like a family dinner following a funeral. But that's just what people are like.
Yep.
But like building off of that, you're right. It's like it is like a case of like the demons that take over them. Don't turn them into like Reagan from The Exorcist, like saying absurd nonsense that is cruel and vulgar. But it's like it's built off of some actual feelings of resentment, and it's just enhancing them.
They're all saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. This whole movie and the fact the family is rather unlikable reminds me of a video game I'm quite fond of, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, or those who are from Japan know it as Biohazard 7 Resident Evil. Basically, it's a individual has to go looking for a family member and comes across a diseased, evil family clan called the Baker family, and they're kind of built off of like the off of the clan from like Deliverance and Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the swamps of Louisiana. But it's like they were corrupted by an evil virus, but we're supposed to like emphasize that them as victims, but we never see them as moments of their goodness. We just are told that happened and see these exaggerated evil versions of them. So in the story, they are antagonists that were encouraged to sort of like defeat and destroy. But just like in this case, they are apparently the exaggerated versions of who they once were. Just like the family in this movie is exaggerated by their demonic enhancements here.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because, like, I think.
I think
Alvarez
Betsy, you have something here too.
Well, we'll get to it.
Oh, I was gonna say Alvarez's Evil Dead, like he's dealing with addiction, if I remember right. Like the main character is they bring her out there to do intervention, right? And that's the whole point of it. And then the sequel, the Rise, which Nick, you help remind me of this, is the idea of motherhood and am I ready, and the pressures and the failures of do I want to be a mom, do I not want to be a mom? I'm like, wow, this is so fascinating. And then this one deals with, well, I mean, like, can we say it yet? They're more of the spoiler-free section, but like
we really say the theme because the theme is the
theme is dealing with
trailer was pretty
trauma,
was pretty obvious. Yeah,
dealing with a trauma of some of a shape, and how a family deals with that said trauma, and when it's the golden boy that committed the trauma, it's very fascinating. Yeah. So I don't know. That I like how I don't remember. I mean, like I watched The Evil Dead, and I've watched Evil Dead 2, and I've watched Army of Darkness, but it's been a long time, so I don't remember if they had themes like that. Hold on, they had themes that ran through like that, Nick. or if it was just a cabin in the woods sort of,
in my opinion,
horror. Yeah. So help me remind me.
Yeah, as I recall, they were more cabin in the woodsy, and that's kind of where the term comes from, if I recall.
Honestly, it has
very much was a cabin in the woods.
It has moments of trauma, but they are not treated with a lot of respect in moments of areas. The trees,
yeah. which
Well, maybe the theme
they
was
went
just
even.
maybe the theme was just don't read the fucking Latin or something.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
which I did learn because I literally took Latin in high school. Because like, what did that book say? What did the book say?
I was gonna say classics majors do not interact.
Well,
But
yeah, and that's kind of the turn that the series seems to have made since coming back, is that the originals are full of schlocky, cheap scare, shoestring budget goodness, in terms of blood and gore,
as
whereas
well as
the
some off-color jokes and some sort of absurdities, but they're making fun of the
yeah,
absurdities.
whereas since coming back in 2013, because Ash versus Evil Dead kind of straddles the line between the two approaches, the Stars TV series,
Yeah,
but uh, the movies seem to have been like, okay, let's use this because yeah, the Deadites said some wacky messed up shit to people as they were talking shit. But what
yeah.
happens if that's like their main weapon, not just the hacking and slashing? What if that's one of their main weapons to dig into and explore themes with the characters, which I think is an awesome way to kind of take
Bridge the
this
gap.
franchise, because you're not going to replicate the Sam Raimi vibe, because whether it's a
You need
cheap
Sam
Evil
Raimi.
Dead movie or Spider-Man or whatever, you're watching a Sam Raimi movie when you're watching a Sam Raimi movie.
Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah, it's
one,
kind of like they've
the
gone
one of
from
the,
just, being able to revel in all of like the violence and gore and discussion to using it more as like a vehicle to talk about something. Because I mean, horror movies in general have always kind of like at a level been about exploring some kind of thing in society. I mean, all movies are at the end of the day because that's just kind of how art works. But
and
it's when they're
some of them
actually
been
like fully
used like
utilizing that
especially
to get
horror.
into some kind of subject. But they still do get to revel in
And
the gore and stuff too.
but like yeah, like I have my problems with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. But if there's one thing I can't say that it's a positive, it's a Sam Raimi film.
Oh yeah,
His fingerprints are all like you can't not acknowledge the Sam Raimi-ness of it. And speaking
no,
on
it's
like the filmmaking quality, if I have to compliment anything outside of the story of this film, which I do have some good vibes about it, it has to be the cinematography and blocking of its acts and set pieces. The amount of preparation to create these multiple scenes of just absolute insane, off the walls, quite literally chaos varieties, amazing multi-layered sequences resolving around a point of view character, several done in a sort of single shot format. Well, furniture flies, bodies are thrown, grabbed, items fall, break. The character is crawling through abject destruction as it ratchets up higher as the scene progresses. It's a true sympathy of frightening sound, bloody fury. Really just grabbed my eyes in the theater when I was not hiding behind a popcorn because I really could afford it myself.
well, and
I
I think
texted
it's worth
Daryl. I texted you in the theater and Brev best cinematography of the year, like halfway
Yeah.
through
Yes,
the movie.
you
I was
did.
in the theater
Oh,
when I
it-
texted it to you.
Oh, I
Like,
didn't
it was-
realize you were still in the theater when you said that.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we were there.
it-
We're just coming out.
Scott is
It
one
was-
of the ones that I can't.
Please, I want it on the air.
I can't do it.
Oh,
No,
come
it's like,
on, man.
no, it's when I can just imagine us going to movies, and like if I know you're there, that we're gonna we're recording for the show, I'm fine. Like we're
The
gonna do
few
that. But if
times
you're
I
texting
put
people
on
in
my
the theater, I'd be
popcorn
like, dude,
bag and then hide
stop.
behind my hands, I was like, "Oh, this is beautiful." The blocking. Oh, how did they rehearse this scene? It's like, wow, this is incredible. Oh God, no.
And there's a couple of points about what you were just talking about, Nick and Scott, that one, I feel it's safe to mention now in the non-spoiler section because it was the first trailer, and the other I'll save until spoiler talk. But that scene where Alice is crawling through as all of that chaos is going on, that was the first teaser.
And
That was the
it's
teaser trailer, and from that trailer, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to see this in the movie. And even having
honestly,
watched
I
that
saw that
teaser
too and
multiple times,
I expected
watching
that
that
to be
teaser
like a
multiple t-
misdirect.
watching that teaser multiple times, I was watching it in the theater saying, "Oh, I didn't notice that in the teaser." And I didn't
Yeah.
notice it. And it's entirely possible that they might have obscured some of it for the teaser.
But honestly, I didn't expect it to be actually true. I thought they just skits it together. But no, that's just a that's. But yes, there's some parts that aren't in there. But it's like, whoa, that whole like sequence was like several uncut cut minutes of like some of the most insane choreography I've seen in a long
Oh,
time.
and the tension of it is just incredible.
Perfectly. The pits, the build up to the final moment of it. Again, don't want to spoil that because even in the spoiler, I don't want to spoil that. It's like it reaches just a moment. It's like, wow, just wow.
And there were some great set pieces in it, like that one. But I still think that my favorite scene in the movie was the dinner scene. And we'll get into details about it in the spoiler section. But it was a great example of Hitchcock's famous bomb under the table philosophy because there was an underlying sense of dread through that entire scene because you knew Edgar was going to explode or someone.
Oh,
And I
before
honestly, we'll talk
before
about it in the spoilers. I might have expected that to be a subversion of expectations.
but
How
before
and when is the explosion going to happen?
before Betsy speaks, I have something to say. The amount
Yes.
of them using Chekhov's gun and
You mean Chekhov's
expression,
everything?
I was like,
Are they looking for the nuclear vessels?
Nuclear vessels.
Vessel. Sorry.
I mean, that was
let's just
probably one of the only things they didn't have, let's be real.
Can I go now?
let's just
like-
say,
Oh, I
Let's
think
just
they're
say that-
across the bay in Alameda.
if you think you're gonna predict where the movie is going to juke, it's gonna jive. It's gonna zig. It's gonna zag. Betsy, you have the floor.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I just want to give it up to like the makeup and prosthetic team because it was
Oh.
so fucking good.
Oh yeah.
No, especially everything with Thea. Like, I looked into some of it, and so much of that was practical, which is
Oh, is it-
insane.
Oh, like the amount of practical I looked up online, like it's like, how
Oh,
do
yeah,
they do?
that's
How do they, especially like some of the more gory? So it's like, there's got to be a little bit of CGI. Nope, they just did that.
Yeah, like someone
Well-
mentioned the car seat earlier, and like, I'm not going to go into specifics, but apparently it involved like paper straws and magnets. Like, they just fucking did that.
Magnets, how do they work?
well,
Yeah,
and
apparently like that.
well, and we'll talk about one of the others in the spoiler section because it's a later kind of spoiler moment. But
If it's the
I
one I
think
think
Scott-
it is, I have a thing that I like typed up to describe it, but go ahead.
oh no, we'll talk about it when we get there.
Betsy, we
Okay,
have to.
yeah, because it's all,
we have
I'm
to
saving it for
pause.
then.
Betsy, we have to actually pause because we have Scott has something to say.
Oh, what my opening thoughts? No,
Yeah.
no. The first thing was just Brev and I've had a conversation. I think on air and off air, Brev, that I really think horror has just kind of become the inventive, creative, genre. It's in a bit of a renaissance. I mean, they just announced The Fugitive with Zendaya.
Mhm.
Fuck off. And so watching horror do crazy inventive things has been fantastic. I mean, just in the last few years, I was just going off the top of my head, The Substance, Bring Her Back, Talk to Me, Weapons, Barbarians, Sinners, even the Invisible Man while we were stuck in COVID, Backrooms, the 28 Years Later, Smile series,
Obsession.
Late Night with the Devil, Nosferatu, Prey, Alien Romulus, Obsession, and then these Evil Dead movies.
There's so much going on right now.
Yeah, and it's great, and it's low budget, and really good new filmmakers have come out.
Even if you haven't checked it out, the USA Chucky series, really great because it had the whole original creators. Like horror is
Megan.
back.
I could have put Megan on the list.
It's freaking.
Yeah. Anyway, the whole the Oscars is finally paying attention. They're given, and I really hope Obsession becomes this year's Weapons. It deserves it. Anyway, and you guys talked about Sam Raimi. He's all over this. I think Evil Dead 2013 might be the best rebooted horror franchise that have been.
It's the only one that succeeded because around that time there was a Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th
was the other one about that time,
and both of them flopped. Even though I did like the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot, even their new Freddy they chose a great actor and great costume designers. Like it just didn't have the right stuff, and the Friday the 13th one.
I'll defend that.
Forget. That's ass. Get rid of that. Get rid of that.
I disagree.
Yep.
Disagree. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah. Anyway, no, what I wanted it.
If you're rebooting Friday the 13th, you gotta bring back Mama Voorhees.
No.
I don't know what you gotta do. You just gotta make it scary, and I was terrified. And I was titillated, especially in that one scene in the tent. I was like, I like this movie. Oh shit. So,
did you forget the rules of horror movies, Brev?
I was like, put your pants on. No, don't put your pants on. Just run.
So caught up in euphoria that you forgot that this was a slasher film.
Yeah.
It's just like my marriage, Betsy. So
no, I think lastly, the only thing lastly
in the wrong here.
Well, last thing I'd say is if you're going to do another middle chapter, do Evil Dead, I want you to expand on the lore. They did. I want you to do some different things with it than you've done before. They did. I want it fresh and exciting. I liked that the first half of the movie was mobile. Like I know we ended up at a house, right? But I just liked that it hopped around. Anyway, and then like I said, shocked me a couple times, and I'm happy. So yeah,
it was a house in the woods, but it wasn't outside of absolutely divorced from civilization. It was a more stately estate rather than a simple cottage. It's different but similar.
I have some thoughts about the house. I'll wait till we get to spoiler because it's kind of digging into one of the characters
themes.
But yeah, we'll talk about that here in a second. Well, and this sounds like a perfect spot to transition to spoiler talk. So to give anyone who wants to wait to see the movie plenty of time to pause whatever device you are listening on, we're going to trigger off with the final trailer for Evil Dead Burn.
We found something. The Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead.
You know they don't want me there.
You're part of the family.
Despite my warnings, they read from the book, unleashing demons, and demons, and demons, and demons. God help us.
The whole family can be together again. Children? Please, open the door. You are my dead dog!
Evil Dead Burn.
God help us.
Tickets on sale now. Rated R. Only in theaters July 10th.
Okay, you've had plenty of warning. We're now in spoiler territory.
Spoiler
And
time.
just it's not a linear thought on this, but before I forget, we were talking about the house.
Yes.
And they mentioned early on that Thea says something about, oh, Joseph practically lives there now that, apparently Edgar and Susan have given him the family house.
The family vacation estate. So they're a wealthy family, which is something that might be part of the themes, but not really explored on it.
They've given him the vacation house. He's spending a lot of time there because he's using Grandpa's tapes and things to research his book. We
But
even
he's
see a
also
little bit of that.
Not even worked in the updating or living properly in the home.
Yeah, because that's what I was going to note. It's in really crappy condition. At one point when they get there, Alice wipes grime off of one of her wedding pictures between her and Will. So
which it should be rather recent in terms of the home's history.
So it's very neglected, and that says something about both Joseph as an individual character, in that
as well as the family itself. Because
and that was the next part that I was going to say. It says something about him as a character, as an individual, and it says something about the family. They've been neglecting everything that is part of the family, and well, now it's all going to explode in their faces.
What's that saying about you need to get your house in order or whatever?
Yeah.
Something. It all builds up before it explodes.
Yes. And Nick,
but
you
there
mentioned
are some connections to the Evil Dead Rise and the greater Evil Dead franchise beyond even just the Necronomicon Ex Mortis.
Yep, because we open back at the lake that opened Evil Dead Rise with Jessica, who bookended Evil Dead Rise,
which was a great subversion of the usual tropes of this franchise in general.
And she is still engaging in Evil Dead shenanigans with two fishermen. She is screwing around, messing them up, killing one of them in horrible fashion, or killing both of them in horrible fashion.
I wanted to mention this. There is a theme to a lot of the kills: heat or fire.
Mm-hmm. Imagine that in a movie called Evil Dead Burn.
Yeah, the second kill was literally had the entire lake boil, killing all the fish, and then it's disgusting, but it was actually kind of realistic as he stepped on that guy's hand and it sort of sloughed off.
But
I was very happy that I finished my pepperoni pizza quickly before almost all the trailers were done.
Oh yeah, rip.
Yeah.
There's definitely a theme to Burn that's also unique to this movie. It's very unique to fire, heat, burn is a theme, not just in the name, but in how some of the major actions occur.
I want you to hold on to that thought as we get to the third act, because I've got a question for you then.
And part of why she's doing this, she actually leaves the lake because prior to cutting back to the lake, we see Joseph listening to some of the tapes from Granddad, and this is important. This kind of puts the whole thing in motion. He says in the recording, he's laying out some of the whole thing about the Necronomicon and a secret society that this is the first time that we've heard about.
Yes, okay, that was a question Scott and I were talking about, because we were chatting, kind of prepping for this, and I was like, is that it feels like that and the knife, spoiler alert, are the two new add-ons to the franchise.
The
And is
knife
that
isn't new. The knife is from
okay?
Army of Darkness.
Okay,
Actually,
Not the specific knife, but I know
no,
what you're gonna
Betsy,
say.
by all means, take the floor.
Betsy,
no,
go
I was
in.
just saying that Nick's the one that's doing actually here.
Mm.
But see, he never says it right. He never said actually. But
Because I don't have a lisp. But there is a knife that is found in Army of Darkness, and there's even one that looks very similar to a knife later on in the film. But it's supposed to be like there's only supposed to be one weapon that can kill the Deadites.
So
This
as
There's
implies
three
that there
different like
are multiple.
Necronomicon, so maybe each one has like its own associated knife. I don't know.
Again, the reason the Rise has that different version of the Necronomicon that when Bruce Campbell tried to pick it up and bit him, that is a different version. It's confirmed in Rise. So there are different Necronomicons, and
Well,
this confirms there are different knives.
I mean, Rise specifically says in the recordings from the monks that there are 3 books.
Yeah. So there's 3 books, but there's also when Bruce Campbell in Army of Darkness was looking for a weapon to fight, there are several ones, including one that looks very much like one in the movie, but isn't the right knife.
More on that later.
Yes. And but it kind of sets everything in motion because the recording says that, oh, well, we found the dagger of Kondak, and we have it hidden. I have it hidden in the house. Don't unwrap it, because if you unwrap it, they'll know about it and they'll come for you. They'll come to get the dagger, and everything will go to hell, and they'll kill everybody. So
that
what does
sounds
Joseph
like
do?
a poorly made weapon. I'm just gonna say it. I think that's a poorly made weapon. If that's what it does.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, he tried to give instructions on how to use it, or at least what not to do.
Again,
Yeah,
But,
like,
Joseph had to do white person in a horror movie film things, and so I'm not supposed to unwrap this knife? I wonder what's in here.
But also be like, oh, if I hold the knife, then I can kill the demons? I would carry that everywhere. I would carry that with me all the time.
Well, I mean, that's just,
I mean, yes,
you wouldn't have much of a movie if he had done that.
It's demon catnip, but guess what? Step. Yeah, demon step.
Hey, it's all fun and games until they take the knife.
As we go along talking about the movie, I do want to thank HBO for yesterday. They marathoned everything. They marathoned the entire Evil Dead series.
Nice.
And so
I did on HBO Max. I watched the whole thing on HBO Max before. And again, thank you.
I missed watching
for asking me to.
I missed watching the original and 2 and Army of Darkness, but I caught 2013 and Rise twice on the East and West Coast feeds.
There you go.
The fun fact was it's been a while since I've seen the whole franchise, and the weekend before, I told our good contributor Betsy, it's like, well, Nicole hasn't seen all of them, but I'm gonna bring her to the to the movies. They're like, well, you just put her through all those, like, and I did.
I just feel like if you're going to take her to the movie, you might as well show her everything that came before it, whether it's directly related or not. That's part of the fun.
And we're not going to necessarily
beat
go
by
through
beat.
Yeah, we're not going to go through beat by beat, but some important things to note here is we get introduced to Will and Alice and Joseph and Thea at the club/restaurant that Will owns.
Well, you missed the best jump cut though. I mean, we go from we go from what's her name getting hit, right?
Jessica getting hit,
and then we immediately cross cut to a young lady twerking into the camera lens, and I was like, "This might be the best movie I've ever seen in my life. This is great." I was like,
Honestly,
look
it
at
was a
that.
pretty good match cut.
It was.
Daryl had to move Brev's hand off his knee.
No,
Brev,
Daryl
high
put it
five.
on his knee at that point in time.
Brev, high five, my man.
Yes, I mean, like, if you're gonna get, there you go, and then we go to
I
the
was
club
like-
scene. Yeah.
I was incredibly scared. Everything was really spooky, but they're like, oh, this is good.
This should have been in
loving
3D,
it.
motherfucker. This is great.
Honestly, the way
IMAX,
they framed it, it looked like it could have been in 3D.
It was. It just this real sweaty
IMAX,
booty sweat going on, like bom, 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 bom. I was like, yeah.
IMAX. Nolan, what are you? Christopher Nolan, what are you doing? This is clearly needed to be an IMAX.
Yeah.
Well, and we learned that just from interactions that Will is an asshole,
With a huge inferiority complex.
but we don't quite get how bad he is from this. We just know that we get typical movie douchebag, jerk.
Honestly, what I would say is like we get great character introductions, and we're expecting development.
I thought they did a really good job of telegraphing it, though, because the whole time, like from the very get-go, when he was starting to act like an asshole, I was like, oh no, I see where this is going.
But it's like,
I see exactly where this is going, and I was
But you
like,
can also
how
see-
long before he breaks something because he doesn't actually want to be seen hitting someone?
But you could also see it as well, like, okay, this individual, if you're using traditional storytelling, it's like, okay, here's the worst version of him. How will he progress? Now, this is a red herring, apparently, but like, it does
Yeah,
like
I mean,
set it like.
Actually, I have thoughts on that later, but we will get there when we get there.
And he's the one who then ends up hitting Jessica. So Jessica has this, her entire Evil Dead career, if you will, is built upon restructuring the timetable of the narrative, I guess is the best way of putting it. Because she was in the cold open of Rise, and the end of Rise occurs before the cold open. And then she gets hit by the car in the cold open of this, and then we jump and see how the car got there.
Yeah, I love the out of order of the movies. In fact, that's what's going to make the the very end credit scene interesting, because they tell the story out of order, which is why I don't think we'll talk about that later, I'm sure, but I don't think we're going to get an answer to that till Evil Dead Wrath.
It is also how Rise worked as well. Rise was told out of order. It's like, it is a sequel. It's weird that that Rise is a sequel to the 2013 remake without being a sequel itself, by being a remake, etc., etc. But this is explicitly a sequel to Rise by playing the same like trope of being out of order.
Yeah, and Jessica screws around with Will's head, basically saying, take me to your family, and sets the car on fire.
One of the best evil laughs I've ever heard.
Oh yeah,
that evil laugh was like iconic. And
then we jump forward again a little bit to Will's funeral.
And again, if we're looking at the timeline, this is like maybe a couple days, weeks, maybe. That's the confusing part.
Probably a few days. Probably a few days, and you can already see the tension. That's where the line from the trailer comes right after the funeral. They don't want me there, but Alice gets there. The costuming tells you all you need to know about where she stands with Will being
I have a thing
gone.
to say about that. But continue your thought, Daryl, and then I have a thing to say about that.
I have a thing to say.
She's hoodie, sweats, tennis shoes. Susan sees the tennis shoes and is like, well, it looks like we're about the same size, and gives her
Yes.
more appropriate shoes to wear for the funeral.
And can I yell about this really quick?
Yes,
Can I
go.
say? Can I
Hold
say
on.
one
No,
thing?
mine's specifically about the shoes, and I need to yell about it.
Okay.
Because I thought that was such, like, this really, like, smart thing that they did. Because, like, you know, they have her take the shoes, and then after the funeral, there's a scene where they're back in the car, and she's, like, pulling them off, and you can see the blisters. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I get it. Like, these blisters from these borrowed shoes is, like, such a good example of, like, the metonymy of how the family, and, like, you know, not getting their house in order, and, like, you know, shoving things under the rug and not paying attention to things, and the way they're, like, permitting and excusing harm in the name of maintaining appearances. Like, you know, that's something that's been going on for a long time, and you see it, like, in this microcosm of, you know, Alice shows up to what is her husband's funeral and everyone's devastated, but the first thing that Susan does is be like, oh, we need to get you into new shoes because those are not appropriate. The shoes that actively hurt her and give her blisters. Like, I just thought that was a really cool way to, like, look at that,
Oh,
just in a tiny microcosm.
it really is. I the stronger point is probably what I had. Can I say it?
Yeah.
Before this scene, she is shown to remove her wedding ring and leave it before going to the funeral. That says immensely her feelings about this, especially after the initial opening sequence. And it contributes to the fact that she is in a hoodie and sneakers. She is not grieving. She is dissociating. But to latch
You can
on
dissociate
to
and grieve. That's part of grieving. Just want to say that.
To latch on to what you're saying, she's being forced into a painful version of mourning by being put into those shoes that are just like, you kind of look like you could fit these shoes. They don't, and they hurt her. It's painful, and she has to endure that.
Isn't it a neat though? Like, you know, it's almost a setup and payoff for later. For, as you put it, Nick, the kiss that was way too long and way too gross. To which I did reply, "Yeah, just like kissing me." So that happens later in the movie. Is that now? If Susan says you and I wear the same size, and those shoes rub Alice raw, don't you feel that Susan has also had to put up with this for her whole adulthood, wearing the shoes that are too small? In other words, she herself has not been able to be comfortable in her own family.
And likely
Instead, she's decided she's going to, you know, do that thing where you put Band-Aids on, like, her heels, because it's better to find a way to live with the problem and manage it so that you could ignore it instead of actually fixing it.
Yeah, and that's evident when she talks about her father, the way she treats her mother, the way she ignores her son's behaviors, and the way she interacts with her own husband.
How she interacts with her husband when he turns into a monster.
Yeah, but the shoes themselves act as a great metaphor for that, isn't it? It's always good, even if you go back to the Bible, where you see the apple means more than just a piece of fruit, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the way that
I
writers
love seeing metonymy in media. It's so much fun.
Yeah. It's cool to have it mean something more, or the sled in Citizen Kane, or the door shutting in The Godfather. I mean, all these are just inanimate objects that we give so much weight to because they mean more than just the thing that they are. That's great. That's great storytelling.
The biblical tie is that Jesus had his disciples wash his feet as a sense of servitude, but also respect. These individuals who are being suffered with the feet are the female members of the family. They are suffering from disrespect.
Yep, they are.
Well, that's because they're women. Nick.
I was gonna say, like, if it weren't for the fact that it would take forever, the way I could, like, use gender theory to deconstruct this entire fucking movie. But, I don't have my Judith Butler next to me or anything, so.
But this is a great way to. This is again. We're dealing with angels and demons and that same scale. So we have to bring in like the idea of the fact, yeah, the women are damned and disrespected by their feet and not respected.
And then after the funeral, when Will's about to be cremated, this whole thing could have been avoided if Edgar had just let it go. But Edgar had to go say goodbye to his son in private.
Because he couldn't say it in public.
Because men don't do that. Look, we're back to gender theory.
Yep.
Why does Edgar get to wear a short sleeve shirt without even a collar on, but his daughter-in-law can't wear a hoodie?
Yep.
Gender theory. Again, Edgar
I told you I could spend an hour on this, and I meant it.
He does have like a masculine beard. He's meant to be like the quote unquote alpha male of the area, but it's like he's also can't show weakness, and he does show weakness in one moment, and that's when he's also possessed by the demon.
Yep. So yeah, we
I'm
don't see.
I'm on your wavelength. I know it.
We don't see burned up Will get out of the coffin, but we know burned up Will gets out of the coffin.
Because we don't need to see it happen. It's a reveal for later.
Yeah, we don't need to see him yet. And then once they get to the vacation house down in the basement, Edgar is, I was blanking on his name there. Edgar is hearing voices and being taunted by what we as the audience know is the Necronomicon, and is about to cut his arm open, and Alice stops him.
And the thing that he says when he gets caught, and I think this is super telling, is not like, oh my god, I don't know what I was doing or I need help. It's don't tell Susan.
Yes.
Just don't tell Susan. Don't tell my wife.
So he doesn't want to upset her.
No, because he doesn't want to show this level of weakness.
Well, maybe he's concerned about her and her delicate feelings in this moment. Come on, Betsy. He could be a good guy.
I mean, that's part of it, but I think it's very telling that, that's the first thing that comes out of his mouth.
Yes. There's a sense of masculine pride that's coming through here. Absolutely. I mean, the movie is rife with the fact that the two best characters are both female. Like, yes, it's understood.
And I think there's also something to say, like, for what you said, like, now that I actually think about it, maybe part of that upsetting is that if he's not living up to that masculine ideal, that's also going to upset her because he thinks he has to be that.
Well, and why is he in the basement in the first place? He's fixing a power tool.
Taking away. Oh no, he took the power tool away from someone that he viewed as less masculine and was filling it up with
Chekhov's gasoline.
With the gasoline in order to do it himself, because he did not view the quote unquote loser son who has not succeeded.
The inferior son, if you will.
I know how my brother feels.
Doing it himself. And
wait, which one are you?
Whoa, don't be mean. No. Betsy, it's supposed to Betsy, the rules are supposed to bully me.
No, she's asking which one in the narrative dynamic. She's asking Brev which one he feels he.
Am I the abusive one or the pathetic one?
Yeah.
Oh man, what a choice!
Are you the golden boy, or are you the one that they think is the weak one? Because there are no winners in this situation. Isn't that the best part?
Yeah. Huh.
That's the point. It's like, and that's why he was preyed upon and then brought into that moment of self-harm.
But that takes us to the aforementioned dinner scene.
Yes, talk about that.
I loved this scene because it may be the most fleshed out the characters are in the movie, and so much of it is done just through context of their conversations and how they're acting, because Alice doesn't want to be there. Joseph and Thea just take kind of a subservient stance to, and this is what we're told is now Joseph's house. But they step back. And Edgar just sits there waiting to boil over.
Because the person is, the conversation is Will.
Yeah, hold on. Nick, let Daryl cook. I want to hear this.
And, the conversation is all about Will. Edgar just sits there waiting to boil over, and Susan takes the lead, but she makes some not really passive-aggressive jabs at Alice. Like, she fixes the meal. Susan fixes the meal and serves it, and mentions that, she just threw it in the oven, it was frozen. And Alice tries to compliment her. Alice says, "Oh, I never would have known it was frozen." Well, you should have. If you're going to run a restaurant, you should be able to tell frozen food. And,
it further proves the fact that the family was always having these feelings. These are the feelings bubbling up, even without the demon control.
And as all of this is happening, the camera keeps ratcheting up the tension because Edgar's not saying anything, but he's always getting a hold of something sharp. He's got a steak knife. He's got a corkscrew.
I did love how we've established that Alice noticed that moment and was like, sharp thing, take.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this. Oh, you've got the corkscrew here. Let me open the wine. Yeah, that kind of thing.
But it's also like you can see how like the subtle sort of like places in play are happening to ratchet up this, because they can't. And even as the dinner conversation goes sideways, Alice loses track of things,
and
which allows
even
things
Polly
to progress.
Even Polly, the grandmother, who we've established is in some sort of cognitive decline, probably Alzheimer's or something like that.
Or, yeah, most likely it's Alzheimer's.
She's in some sort of cognitive decline. And when Will gets mentioned, when's Will going to be here? So even her focus is on, when is the best one going to come?
The good one.
Yes, when's the good one going to come? And just the way
reestablishing the character dynamic,
building and building and building, and up until the point that just even though I could see that it was coming, the poor doggo.
Yeah, that was like one of the few times where I had to like completely look away from the screen. Honestly, I think it was the only time where I'm just like, no.
Daryl, I saw it coming, but the tension of the scene was so engrossing. There's like,
Daryl,
I did not see it.
Daryl, you and Brev warned me. The thing was, when the trailer dropped, I saw the glowing eyes in the dog, and I went, okay, well, if his eyes are glowing, he's possessed. If he's possessed, he got fucked up. If he got fucked up, okay. So I kind of saw it coming. But you did warn me, and what's interesting is they're right. I'm a giant dog person, and I have a lot of trouble with this stuff. But my favorite horror movie of all time is The Thing, and I don't know a movie that does dogs dirtier than that movie. But it's more the I Am Legend situation or the Marley and Me situation or something like that, where like I get to know the dog. I think Max was in half a scene before he bought it, which kind of helped. And then it was off camera mostly.
Yeah, we didn't
anyway,
see.
Yeah, it was well. It was.
We didn't even see the actual kill. But again, like I would call like a similar kill like similar to like the what's it? Reservoir Dogs, where the ear got caught up.
Yeah,
you never saw it, but you felt it so visibly because of how intense it was.
Standard movies, Scott, I think you're like me in that kind of the same philosophy as remember a few years ago, Channing Tatum had that movie come out called Dog.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw him on one of the late night talk shows, and they were talking to it, and he was promoting that movie, and he said, "Yeah, all of my friends called me, and they said, dude, we can't go see your movie unless you tell me that the dog's going to be okay." And so I'm like,
Oh yeah.
And understandable.
Going
Yeah.
off of the example, like people say, like, wait, Reservoir Dogs, is it where they like visibly cut off a guy's ears? Like, well, you don't see it. You never see it. It's like, I heard
Yeah.
a guy say that they saw it. He's like, no, it's visceral, it's powerful, but you don't see any of it. But it doesn't matter the fact that it's like, yeah, if you are uncomfortable with that's uncomfortable.
But that is the moment that drops the match on the proverbial gasoline
And
that
the
has been being
movie does
poured
not.
all over this family up until this point in the movie. And from here on, we're in an Evil Dead movie.
Yeah. And it's like, it's gone from like, all right, full throttle.
Yeah, I actually typed in my notes. Actually, I said to my wife right as they were sitting down to dinner, I go, "The shit's gonna hit the fan." It was so clear. It was so clear it was about to happen.
You don't know when it's gonna happen. You don't know how it's gonna happen, but you can feel it.
Oh yeah, no, they did a good job.
One thing that I appreciate.
If anyone's squeamish about like gore or horror, once the dinner scene happens, stop. It's just going to go. It's going from 0 to 100 right now.
And
I described
Betsy,
a certain later scene a certain way, but anyway, yeah.
I know that you have one of your famous Walzo text.
I sure
about
fucking
the
do.
dinner scene. Before you dive into that, I do just want to say that I appreciate that the immediate reaction after that, after Edgar blows up and kills Max and all of that, is okay. We're getting out of here. And they go to take him to the hospital, and we get Joseph and Thea and Edgar on the road for a little bit. Correct? Army of Darkness is a whole different animal. Is this the first Evil Dead movie where someone is actually able to at least temporarily get away from where all of the bad shit's happening?
Yep.
I think so, actually, yeah.
One of the other things that was just awesome was there was this moment where we actually heard what it's like to be possessed. Right when it got in her, the first one, you heard inside her head it yelling at her, telling her what to do. I've never had that perspective before. I don't think we have. But it was quite impressive. I always enjoyed that. It only did it once, and then it was off to the races. But yeah, it was like screaming at her, like "Do it, that kind of stuff." Anyway,
yeah,
I liked it. I like that.
I definitely need to rewatch this when I'm able.
And all of it, again, kudos to the cinematography. The large going like all the way up with a drone shot into the crash scene.
Yeah,
was like gorgeous. It's like it. Usually in Evil Dead we are close up because to make sort of like the cheese are like big scare. It's like no, they pulled out and we had the car crash and that was like. Then we go into the scene.
And the car crash was so quiet too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good. It for a movie that has a very loud soundtrack, which I love. I love the soundtrack. I love like the high like vocals and the esoteric horror vocals. This moment was like, no, they just crash. We have diegetic sound, and then we crash back into like the madness.
And now, Betsy, I will I will yield the floor to you As we all buckle in for Wallow text.
Thank you. Right, this is
Yeah,
this is the first one, and the other ones are shorter. These are not all the same walls of text, by the way, even though I know I'm the only one that has paragraphs next, but these are separate walls of text. I promise. But yeah, like I was really thinking about that dinner scene and just my brain came up with a thing. Like I think maybe the different characters each kind of encapsulate a different part of, that like the typical 5-part grieving process. Like, Edgar, the dad, represents anger, and it's like that specific kind of frustration that manifests in response to like this feeling of injustice and just feeling completely powerless and having all of this but not knowing what to do with it and just kind of lashing out because of it. Meanwhile, Joseph, I think, kind of represents denial. Like, not in the refusing to accept that Will died, like pretending it didn't happen way, but more like in the compartmentalization. I'm just going to, shove everything that has to do with Will's death into this tiny little box, and then I'm going to bury that box somewhere deep in my mind, and then I'm going to keep it there until I die way. And you can also kind of see that exemplified in the way, like, he's really let the house go because he's just like, I'm just going to ignore everything else and just hang out in the attic and, play with my grandfather's stuff and try to get my book done, but also not work on my book because I'm digging into all this other stuff. And then, like, Susan, the mom, I think, is bargaining. Like, she's trying to manage her grief by telling herself that if she does, like, this and this and this and this, that things will all be okay. Like, if she gives Alice proper shoes, then the funeral will go smoothly. If she villainizes her father and paints him as a deadbeat, she doesn't have to grapple with their reality that he really did love her and their family, but still left them anyway. If she can take care of, like, certain practicalities, like getting Alice to take over Will's restaurant, then this whole process following Will's death will end that much sooner. And if she can assign Alice blame for her son's death, then she doesn't have to accept that Will died as a result of his own choices. See also a scene we'll talk about later when she lets Edgar back in the house as a means to get her family back. And then Alice finally, I think, is depression, just like this overwhelming pain and devastation that comes from loss. And I don't just mean like of the loss of Will himself, because I think she definitely was grieving that, but like also who he was and who they were before during happier times. And like what might have been if they'd found a way to work through things, or what might have been if she genuinely confronted the person that he turned into and ended things on her own terms, and just the loss of the life that she believed she would have and the future she'd imagined for herself that just didn't happen. And that also leaves acceptance, which is also Alice. And, yes, she gets 2. No, it's not because I couldn't figure out who else to assign something to. This really was my design from the get go, I promise. It's like, because every character except Alice succumbs to their grief. Therefore, every character except Alice becomes a deadite. Because instead of giving in and losing herself, like, we watch Alice try to work through her grief in real time. Like the whole struggle for survival in the fight against the eponymous evil dead. And she's able to actually start transforming her depression into acceptance. She doesn't get all the way there by the end of the movie, but we see the beginnings of it because she is choosing to do the work that recovery requires. And also, now that I think about it, this would make a lot of sense as to why, like, a lot of the characters felt kind of underdeveloped, or like there wasn't a lot there, because they were symbols, meant to function not so much as people in the world, but rather personifications of the movie's ethos, which is a meditation on grief and survivorship, which I think just is a really cool thing. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that's my longest wall of text for this whole episode, so I got it out early.
Thank you, but Betsy, I wanted to like say I agree with like all of that, and also say like the people that say like, and the idea that these characters are hollow, aren't great, or not identifiable. For like they're character devices. They are part of a character's story, or not necessarily. We're telling stories need character devices, individuals who embody different elements in everything. And honestly, I feel like that's the best way of explaining how this feels like a little bit hollow for a horror movie. We created these like archetypes and ideas, but like our main character is growing beyond them, learning from them, building from them.
And that then we're now in that fight in the car. And
Yep.
Betsy, you said that you looked up stuff about the prosthetics for Thea is killed with a car headrest to the face and neck, which is just
Yeah.
that was
That's one of the most
an awesome
gnarly.
kill.
No,
Yeah.
like that was another one where it's like they like purposely cut away in certain places, but it was just so fucking visceral.
For a great reveal after, again, we're in the spoiler section. We imply that happens, then we see it as a death, but then as a deadite revived zombie form, pulling
Yeah,
it
she
out.
walks all the way back to the house with the car seat like shoved through her neck and her face, and then pulls it out when she gets there. Which, again, the fact that they did that with like magnets and paper straws, how did they do that?
Yeah,
How? Teach me your ways. That was amazing.
Magnets. How do those work? Literally right now.
Or like when he slams her hand in the car door and you see like the fingers come off.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's if that is CGI.
I loved the fingers coming off because
I know.
Like, it slams and then three of them fall and then one falls. And I was like, wonderful.
But then the whole time from then on, every time you see her, you see that she's missing all those fingers.
But that can be CGI. It's the effective with the car.
And
with the car part.
And we also
that was like, how did you do that? I'm fascinated by that.
No, the car sequence.
How much of the fingers coming off was CGI, but I like that, every time we saw her then, like, you saw, like, the results of that, and you could see it, like, getting worse, too, as the movie went on.
What were you about to say, Scott?
Continuity.
I was just going to say the car set piece was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It was so well done. It was so well done. I was enthralled, and like I said, part of what I loved is about the first half of the movie was that it traveled, and I've never seen it, have a crash out in a car before, so that was pretty sick.
Oh, and again, that goes back to what I said earlier, like the around like cinematography and it's like all the action sequences felt like really intense, brutal.
Nailed the claustrophobia of the scene too.
Yeah, and
it's like
we've been making jokes about Chekhov's this and Chekhov's that, but there was a literal Chekhov's gun.
I know.
Because early on, Alice sees a gun in the glove compartment. Well, when does Joseph have a gun? And Thea's like, he just, I don't know. And
he says Joseph is a badass.
Something about like wanting to feel like a big man. Oh, hey, look, we're back at gender again. It's like poetry, it rhymes. Oh no, Daryl, play the clip.
Oh yeah, I got to play the clip.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
There it is.
Okay, if there's one thing that I would agree, like the subtle theme of it, it's always been like the subversion of male masculinity and its patheticness, and how it's also like a bad thing.
And we also play on that overtly in the scene because Joseph finally gets to the gun and is pointing it at Edgar, and Edgar's like, well, do it. And he doesn't.
Yeah, and I think that so to me, like, all those things are really fun you guys are talking about, but to me, the important thing is that when faced with a moment like that, we see who Joseph's real character is. He knows his dad's no longer there. And then not only that, he gets out there and doesn't help out
the woman he loves.
Nick, pause. Someone else talking. No. So instead of helping out Thea, he runs. He makes no effort to help her. So it's like, dude, it's so character revealing, and it was one of my favorite. I love the dinner table scene for every reason you guys are talking about, but this scene, I was like, oh, that was so good because the whole time you're going like, shoot, pull the trigger, and he doesn't. But you're like, but if he had, it would have betrayed who his character was. So I just love that. That was great.
Can I also just say I love how that was like such like an on point portrayal of what a freeze response looks like?
Yeah.
Because
honestly, like, I'll admit, like, outside of like a narrative perspective, like, yeah, someone's trying to murder someone in front of me. Yeah, if I have the ability to act, I would.
Would you? Can you guarantee that? That's not how those responses work. You don't get to pick which F you do. Your body does.
It is like a binary. Like it's literally the point of like shoot or don't. And it's like, as much as I would like to, I like to think that I could act in that moment, in that specific moment, because again, it's a specific moment of saving someone's life. You're right. You can never predict that moment. You could always freeze.
Yeah, everyone wants to think that they would do something, but you don't ever know until it happens. And as someone who also usually defaults to the freeze response, I was like, oh my god, it's just like real life.
But...
And but no, it's just like the paralyzation of like, oh my god, I don't know what to do, so just everything completely locks up while you're screaming at yourself to do something, anything. And you can see him like shaking while he's holding the gun, like, oh my god, I need to do something, but what the fuck do I even do?
We can also criticize the individual that says, like, I'm running! It's like,
well, no, I think it's very telling that as soon as he was able to fight through that and like, unfreeze, the first thing he did was climb out the sunroof.
Yeah.
As much as, the fleet response is another one.
And he runs back to the house. When he gets back, he's obviously terrified and runs in and tells them to lock the door and all that, but he doesn't tell them why, does he?
Yeah.
I mean, what would he say?
He just says Thea's dead, I think.
And
no, he says she's dead. His girlfriend is dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then she
knocks on the door. And
I realize that brings up, me characterizing him as denial, because it's the same thing where he just like shoves that whole thing in a box and runs back, and he's like, okay, I'm back, they're dead, but at least I'm alive.
And then dash at the door with the doggo.
Well, no, first Thea's there.
With the car seat and like lodged in her.
Because they let Thea in. Alice lets Thea in. Which, again, probably could have saved some trouble. But
see every horror movie in the history of forever.
Exactly. And that's when we get the scene that was in the other trailer where Thea drinks the lit candle hot wax, toasting to the perfect family.
That was so cool.
I looked this one up too. Apparently, like, it actually was a lit candle, but they like put a little pocket in there and like put some juice in. And apparently, they originally tried it with wax, but it's getting stuck in her hair.
Yeah, it was like a trick, like half candle, half like thing that they drank. And like...
Yeah. They like Betsy said, they had tried wax, but it didn't work.
It kept getting in her hair and like stuck on her face.
Ooh.
Which the fact that they tried wax for the first one, I'm like, okay, go all out.
Go all out and
it wasn't actually lit during like filming too. That was a real lit candle.
Yeah, it sounds fucking dangerous. Actually, like it like a little bit. Wax is not like
Well, it's not that hot. It's like paraffin wax, like what they do at spas and shit.
Don't kink shame, Nick. Don't kink shame.
Yeah, again, paraffin wax.
You can
use it for that too.
Why would that be a kink?
Wax play? That's a thing?
Yeah.
You can buy it at adult novelty stores?
Is it a thing?
Yes, that's a thing.
Where are we? Where are we?
Yeah, no.
I'm so lost.
We're in Blow Nick's mind territory.
Back
we,
on
we
track.
occasionally
Is this like
We-
the Void or wherever you go in the Matrix? Or no, Inception when you get into like was
Yeah.
that blank space down there?
Like how many levels you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm
And
down there
so-
somewhere.
Back on track. We had that.
Occasionally, Nick's mind gets blown like that, and we feel the need to torture him some more. But
That's the thing. That's another time.
so we'll
I was gonna say,
explain
you can
later,
Google it
Nick.
later.
Yeah, you can Google later, Nick. We and that's when mentally I lose track of the sequence of events in the movie.
It's just all out from
Just
there.
trying to remember because it's all out from there. And
it goes back to what I said, like the amazing action sequences are just like so intense. It's like you lose track of that. It's like, wow, it's really cool.
Well, we had the girl fight. That was cool.
Yeah.
Then we had
Yes.
we had the big POV fight with the one shot with the tracking shot, which
Yeah.
was sick as hell.
yeah,
And
And-
the gun.
we also-
I gotta say, there was a couple on our show. We give out awards like the Oscars, and one is like best scene of the year. Man, that gun scene.
Yes.
was so
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I was laughing in the theater, not because I thought it was humorous, because like they are fucking going for it.
Yeah.
I was just laughing.
I was having
I
that
just
same
so
reaction.
No, I had like the biggest smile on my face. I was just like, okay, I know that, they're doing like horrible things and like slaughtering each other and whatnot, but just the sheer euphoria of like, oh my god, they're like going just balls to the wall insane on this.
Well, we were on the other side of Daryl, but I can confirm that we went inside with my sister Nicole, and she gave out a little bit of a laugh during that sequence.
Yeah, so that was actually the scariest part for me of the whole movie was when I was walking down the steps after we were leaving, and Daryl said, "Watch out, Nicole might push you down the stairs," and I'm like, she better fucking not. Like, because I had just fallen down the stairs like about a week ago at my house, and I was like, no, I'm still recovering. You better not push me down.
No, don't worry. She'd only want to push Nick down the stairs.
Well,
Now,
I mean, like, join the club, right? I mean,
Now, of course, this was obviously by design, but when Alice got a hold of that weed eater that we saw early on, which, man, that was a gnarly weed eater, too.
Call those weed eaters?
What do you call
that's
it?
the closest
Weed
thing that I
whacker.
could think of.
It's for
Yeah.
heavy brush. Like it's
Yeah.
a trimmer for really heavy shit. But
I just
yeah,
always called it
gotcha.
a weed whacker. I've never heard weed eater.
It's
Sorry,
a
no, it's
weed
besides the
whacker.
point. I just thought that was interesting.
soda.
Yeah,
No,
pen-
it's
Everything
a
is
weed
whacking.
whacker.
That's true if you try hard enough.
That's right.
But it's-
obviously
it's a
this was
weed
by-
whacker. That's exactly what I know it is.
Obviously, this was by design, but everybody else, I'm sure, thought when Alice got that and fired it up was half expecting a groovy out of her.
I was expecting a groovy, but in French.
I was
And
going to
then
say, what's the
subtitles
French
saying
equivalent?
groovy. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Groovy.
Yeah, whatever.
Well,
yeah.
no, that's two syllables. You're pronouncing too many letters. It's French.
Oh, sorry.
Whatever the French say, say whatever they say.
But we also have what is probably the second most disturbing scene is when she gets Polly upstairs to her room,
Mhm.
and is like, everything's gonna be okay, Mom, and all of this, and something's gonna go horribly wrong there. But we don't know for sure that Polly's been possessed yet. We then, Polly's possessed by the dead. Great, beautiful, love it. And Edgar comes to the window.
It's very Exorcist vibes. It's very.
It reminded me
classic.
of actually, Nick, along those lines. So first of all, she gets possessed because Thea sucks on her dentures, right, and then puts them back in her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Which I was like, gross. And then
Oh, no,
but it
yeah,
reminded
I thought
me
we were
of-
kink shaming.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
I thought
No,
we were
no.
kink shaming. Sorry.
Yeah, and then we had the scene where it felt like what was that Salem's Lot, right? where the kid is
Yeah.
outside the window asking to come in, and it's the husband
Very
outside.
say-
Am I too far? Am I too far forward here?
Oh no, that's
Okay.
not. That's some classic horror.
No, I totally agree with you there.
agree.
Yeah.
I liked how in the aftermath of the uncomfortably long and repeated kisses with Edgar.
No,
Can I say what I put in my bullet points for that?
We didn't
go
talk
ahead.
about that.
Yeah, in my bullet point, I wrote it down as semi-literal face sucking. ... Is it vor? Is it blood play? Is it a secret third thing? Who knows?
But I was saying, like, it is fitting in what I said, like, of the sort of absurdity and camp of the Evil Dead franchise.
Yeah.
Like,
But
it'd be like,
I liked that.
It's an over the top kiss. It's like, oh,
I liked that
that's
in
really-
the aftermath of that, it played with the concept of is or isn't Susan possessed.
Yeah.
Because it was very non-committal about that for a while. Because everything that she was doing after that, until they undeniably confirm that she's possessed when she's in the bathroom with Alice.
Yeah.
Everything goes along with what she's been doing throughout the entire movie, which is the family. The family is important.
But
She even
does
said,
make the
I'm
entire
nothing without
scene-
my family.
Yeah. But does make the entire sequence ultimately hilarious about how, like, over the top it was.
But I'm saying that I appreciated that when she went back downstairs
Yeah.
before that big oneer, that it was ambiguous as to whether or not she was possessed, because there were times during that oneer that it looked like she was, but maybe she wasn't. And I appreciated that ambiguity. And then when Alice takes her up, secures her and Susan in the bathroom, but still goes ahead and ties Susan up.
Oh yeah, I
And Susan's like, well, what are you doing?
I get this even implied during the big fights. Like, she's fighting on the side of. I was like, you weren't supposed to fight them. It's like, and they were fighting together. It's like, and then it's like, it's a huge fight. She's still on her own side to try to make things right, but she's still like
bargaining.
Yeah.
And
maybe that's why it doesn't fully like take over her, because she's still like in this bargaining stage of like, okay, if I let him back in, I get to get my whole family back together, so everything is going to be fine.
In the final moment in the restroom.
Yeah, like it's not until she's like, oh my god, I let you back in, and then you just like murdered the fuck out of my son.
Well, it's just like, I hate you. All of you. You're all bad people.
Well, and that scene in the bathroom is the other effects scene that I was going to mention when we got into the spoiler territory.
Yeah.
Because I was reading on some of the effects too, and Susan goes up on the ceiling and has Alice's face wrapped in the shower curtain, and the director said, no, we didn't have a rotating room. It was too expensive. So that was actually suspending them
He
from
just
the
fucking
ceiling.
did that.
Wow.
And that was good. Like that. Again, like, regardless of anyone's like problems with the movie, the effects are incredible. The amount of
well, there's so much
people in,
blood
like,
and gore and all that coming at you, and you're terrified, and so like
and moving
all that's happening,
around and like doing different like big set pieces with minimal CGI. It was good. Bravo.
And Alice gets up in the attic from the bathroom after she takes care of Susan, and then we get Deadite Joseph up there, and we get a moment that we kind of knew was coming. She finds the bag of daggers because he told her, find it before they do, while he was still himself. And we have all these daggers, and oops, wrong one. Wrong one.
Best gag.
Just kind of keeps going. It's like, it's gotta be one of these.
And so did I also, this is one of those
Are
moments,
you pooping?
I think so. And going back to other movie, references to other movies and things like that, the right dagger is the one that looks the least ostentatious, kind of like in Last Crusade.
I was literally going to make that exact reference.
The Holy Grail is the least ostentatious. This is the cup of a carpenter's son. And so we get that. We get an escape across the roof. We lose the dagger. We're getting away from Susan and Edgar, and we get them taken care of, and Edgar, I guess.
Down the. I love that.
Down the roof.
The chimney.
We
down the chimney.
Down the chimney, and then we take care of Max.
I was gonna say, Doc comes back for round 2.
And here comes.
And then we have the final boss.
Will is our final boss, and you couldn't have been any other way.
As a final villain, great design.
Oh yeah,
horrifying, terrifying.
It looked great. We get another Evil Dead fake out that we see a chainsaw.
No. Wait, hold on. I got a thing to say before we get there.
Okay, say it.
Yeah. Okay. So something that I just really wanted to talk about that's really important to me is that I love how about this movie that it deserves so much credit to me for its portrayal of abuse and trauma. It's not an easy subject to engage with on any level, but I think this movie really knocked it out of the park in so many ways. One that really stood out to me that it happened here, but it also happened a few times earlier in the movie. Just good, amazing 10 out of 10 portrayal of what getting triggered actually is, or what it can actually look like, and depictions of what experiencing a flashback can look like, and how it's something that's completely involuntary that you can never fully prepare for, and even though logically it's you're not back there, that it's not happening, or that your brain is being irrational or whatever, it's you still feel it on this mental, emotional level, and sometimes even a sensory level, and just it fucks you up so much. Oh my god, just in my opinion, those things can be really hard to portray in a way that makes sense and gets the idea across, while still approaching that portrayal with a level of empathy and nuance that they deserve. And to me, Vanacek just completely knocked it out of the park, and I felt so fucking seen at so many different points. And did I mention he did all this in a fucking horror movie that's part of the same franchise where a guy replaces his arm with a chainsaw or time travels to Arthurian England? Just all the kudos to Vanacek, and also Raimi and Florent Bernard, because I want to give all the lead writers their flowers too. I love how we see her take out Max, and she's got her badass moment, and then burnt out Will walks out of the house, and then she just completely freezes, even though she spent all this time fighting off these other people. Now that she's faced with her abuser, all that goes out the window.
Yeah, did you notice that the visual cue that you saw? So where their wedding portrait was next to the gazebo, but now their final showdown is right there at the gazebo. Of course, it moves into the construction, but we can.
And
I thought that was really cool.
Also burn, you see all those things burn in the house too before you come outside, and just so good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
Oh, I was just going to say that was the same picture that was covered with grime.
Yes.
But what else were you about to say, Brev?
No, I was about to do the thing that I try not to do anymore, and it is if it were me writing it or directing it, I would have done XYZ, but I'm going to keep that to myself.
Oh, come on. You teed it up this week offline. You wouldn't share it.
I would have had a moment where when Alice gets to the house that she goes to the gazebo. She just stands there and looks at it before we see the picture, before anything, because it meant a lot for her to be married to the man she thought that she loved.
Yeah,
But
that's
ended up
fair.
not being the man that she thought she was, and I think that would have made the gazebo resonate a little bit more than just a picture. But I
Yeah.
also understand that horror movies need to have a certain, run time. We got to clock in so we can get as many showings as possible.
Oh,
So
that could have been 10 seconds, Brev. Literally 10 seconds.
Yeah, they could have
I
even done another
agree
match
with
of
you.
her like looking at the gazebo to the picture or something, you know?
Yes. But that's just me. That's just me.
No, I'm with you on that one. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah,
I do too.
Yeah.
And
if I had something maybe another time.
So I do kind of wonder about the whole proximity of the house, the crematorium, which is next to the construction site.
Mm-hmm.
I never got a good mental sense. I'm not that it mattered, but I never got a good mental sense of that because it's clearly in short walking distance from the house,
or at least
but
running
I don't know.
distance.
It makes no difference to the story, but it's just one of those things that
It has importance, but
I wonder about.
It's different in terms of length. Whatever.
But I did really like that everything was coming to a fore here, and we, as the movie went on, we got more and more firm confirmation that Will wasn't just an asshole, he was an abuser. Because we see a bruise on Alice's side. And
It's
at
not a
one
bruise.
point,
It's a burn mark from hot water.
oh, I
Yeah.
totally
It was a
missed
boiling
that.
pot of
Okay.
water that was on the stove.
Which also, that reminds me too, when they're there in the bathroom, when we start to think, okay, is Susan just nutty buckets or is she possessed? Right before the reveal that she's possessed, she's tied to a radiator. And she leans over and just lets her cheek burn on the radiator.
Mm-hmm. It's good stuff.
And it lends just a whole sense of this seems to be a continuity within the family. You know, where did Will learn it?
Mm-hmm. Also makes me wonder if, when they had that fight and he ended up, smacking the bowl of the boiling pot of water and that it splashed on her, I wonder if that was the first time that he actually like physically harmed her instead of just, verbally or destroying property. Maybe that was what kicked it all off.
That's where the Evil Dead burn comes from.
Exactly.
But I mean, as we mentioned earlier, there is an entire through line of things burning. Yet, meanwhile, as all this is going on, and we were kind of discussing offline in text this whole thing earlier, there's snow happening as all of this is going on. So, is that the Evil Dead just fucking with the weather, or is this a counterpoint to the Evil Dead that burn, if you will?
Porque no los dos.
What?
I mean, true. Why can't it be both?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was kind of hoping for like a shining moment where like all the snow was down and we're gonna race through the snow.
I don't know.
Maybe that's what you guys hear in some sort of future project. Maybe Avengers Doomsday.
Who knows? What were you about to say, Scott?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm take it, Daryl.
Okay. But no, that kind of made me think you had said something in text that you had read. I thought you had read somewhere rather than just kind of putting together that this and Rise all take place within a pretty short frame of time. And I was all aboard with that. And then I was watching Rise on HBO and, they're in like warm summer clothing because they're swimming at at the lake and all of that, and then there's snow in this, and that's what sparked the whole. Well, is that the Evil Dead fucking with the weather or what?
I don't know.
who
I mean,
knows, but-
I look. There's usually the simplest explanation is that I didn't really clock the weather. I always thought this was all chained by that girl who, got infected in the parking garage, went out to the lake, killed her friends, threw a drone in her face, and then got the fisherman later. I always assumed that was within a day, or it was all just connected by I don't know 72 hours, or I don't know, something. But yeah, if the weather changed, I don't know. I didn't. You noticed that. I didn't quite. But you're right. Even the fishermen were in coats and hats and stuff. So
yeah.
Now I think about it.
who
So
knows?
I don't know. Maybe she just hung out at the lake and chilled out. And then
I see what you did there.
You're welcome. And then killed him. I don't know.
The Deadite was like, you know what? I'm gonna chill.
I'm gonna chill.
Hey,
I mean,
see
I know it woke
patience
up
too.
because of the dagger. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know.
I don't know. And it could be that they did mean for it to be a short amount of time, and we're just noticing things that we're not supposed to notice. Which it wouldn't be the first time that I've noticed stuff in movies and
No,
TVs
it's
that I'm not
deliberate.
supposed to.
I mean, I think you can tell by the end credit scenes that like they really know how to connect the movies and they're doing everything
Yeah.
deliberately. So I do not doubt for a second it's all deliberate and they have it all worked out. I just, it could be either way. Maybe it's,
Yep.
I don't know.
I mean, another thing that like goes with that is, when after what's her name, Jessica comes out of the water, like after killing everybody, and she's like standing on the side of the road, and we just see like this time lapse of her standing there. It looks like it was, less than 24 hours, but who knows how fucking long she stood there.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how well traveled the road is, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, she was just
Yeah.
waiting for one specific car to come
She
around, so
was.
she could have been
That's
standing
true.
there for a minute.
That's true. She was. No, that's true. That what you learn later as the plot unfolds is that was all connected to family and deliberate, and yeah, that wasn't just a random car.
A great time with you, man. Amazing time.
And okay.
Snakes have no arms. That's why they don't wear vests.
Oh, don't say snake around Nick. Nick wants to play a snake in every RPG.
I'm
But
barely awake
get
right now.
the-
So like, could we like
we get the Nick is being possessed by the evil dead as we speak.
I think it's the
You
evil
said he
realm.
was being possessed by an evil snake for a second, and I was like, yeah, sounds right.
No,
I keep waiting for Nick to yell out.
Did you hear what she did? Your cunting daughter.
but
Fuck me,
we
Jesus, fuck me.
get the final fight at the construction site between Will and Alice, and they do give us a little fake out. We see a chainsaw, and we're like, oh yeah, it's Evil Dead. She's going for the chainsaw, but she gets a jackhammer.
that was based.
And I have a thought about that too.
Yes,
It's a
I was
chainsaw
setting you up
and
for
a
your
fucking
thought,
base.
Betsy.
Betsy, go for it.
I fucking loved that Alice fought Will with a jackhammer instead of a chainsaw, that like the one that they faked us out with. Like, that moment was tense and dramatic, but also whipping out the jackhammer just added like that tiniest bit of like the camp and whimsy that felt fun without undermining like the overarching tone of the scene. But also just the fact that it was a jackhammer specifically, because you cannot tell me that that was an accident. It was a construction site. They could have gone with all kinds of heavy machinery, but they specifically had her use the most phallic piece of equipment to use against her cis male abuser. Like, come on, you cannot tell me that was an accident. What? Just because
But
I think
also-
Freudian psychoanalysis is mostly bullshit doesn't mean I can't invoke it as a critical lens. This is media analysis, not actual psychology. We're not saying anyone's trying to fuck their mom here.
Betsy, I give like a head pat through the internet. Like,
Well,
yes,
and-
we're on that. It's fine. We heard you. It's very cool.
Are you
We're
worried I'm
going
going to attack
insane.
you with a jackhammer? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, no. It's why.
So
Like, yeah, you're right.
so
That's
we
cool as shit.
we have a moment where as dead Will, crispy Will is about to to
Hey, you
die
stole my thing.
at Alice's. I'm sorry. What else would we call him but Crispy Will?
I just refer to him as extra crispy in the next paragraph several times.
But we flash for a moment and he looks like him. He looks alive. It's bathed in blue light instead of the harsh red of the flame of the scene. And he tells her that he loves her. And then she finishes him off with the dagger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that was the thing that I really appreciated. Just, they're like on the edge of everything, and there's like this tiny window where time just kind of stops. Because like Alice looks at Will and she sees him, like the actual him, or maybe not even the actual him, like the who he used to be, but instead of the extra crispy undead that's been trying to kill her for the past however many minutes of runtime. It's like, despite being extra crispy and undead, I feel like the actual Will, like the person, gets back in the driver's seat, and he actually, for once, finally sees Alice in turn. And, I mean like the actual Alice, not the object that he projected all of his insecurities onto and lashed out at, but like the woman that he loves. And that's loves, present tense, because he was 100% telling the truth when he told her, I love you. Because, like, the thing about abuse and stuff is that, like, despite everything, like all the violence and the insults and the threats and the manipulation, like, that didn't erase the love that he felt for her. But then it works the same way the other way around, too, because all the love in the world can't erase everything Alice had to endure or undo the impact that it had on her. Like, all that harm is still there, and she still has to live with it and go on living with it every single fucking day for the rest of her life. Plus, putting the whole being dead thing aside, it's like no amount of love could change Will's abusive behavior, because making those changes takes a hell of a lot more than love alone. Like, that's something that he actively has to put work into and work at every single day. So then Alice says something that, at least in my experience, is like honestly really fucking hard to say and even harder to follow through on, that sometimes love isn't enough. Like, when I tell you, I felt that in my soul, or, where my soul would be if I had one. But I digress.
But I was told that love means never having to say that you're sorry. No one else got that. That love story joke.
No, I got it.
Okay,
I was like, I'm not sure how to follow that up after a serious moment.
Yeah, there are no serious moments in my life. So
no, I felt it. I feel that. I mean, I had to undermine the whole thing with me not having a soul. So
there you go.
But
it's
no,
a good
like,
scene though. I was feeling it when she got thrown down in the pit with the rebar and her leg. I was like, oh, and I was thinking to myself, could I pull my leg out? It's like, I think I could if I was in that situation.
Adrenaline's a hell of a drug.
But I'd have stories to tell after that. I'd be like, listen, motherfuckers, listen to my stories.
And then
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to set you up for the last part and say that she's found by EMTs who patch her up.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead.
I was going to say that, like, just, that feeling of like, oh my God, I understand this and how much this resonates me. Like, it only like got more intense, like at the very end when she's talking to the EMT and the EMT was like, who did this to you? And Alice just says, my ex-husband, like, completely casual, like, just as a matter of fact statement. Because, like, I feel like everyone knew what Will was like and what he did, but the way she said it, it just had this air of, like, finality and freedom, and, like, this weight that she'd been carrying for so long was finally gone, that I can't help but wonder, like, was that the first time that she actually made her abuse speakable?
Probably. And then she looks up. Was that a dead-eyed eye?
Don't worry about it.
What?
And when she looked up, one of her eyes looked orange.
Oh, I don't
after she said that.
Yeah,
at least it did to me. And I don't know that it could have been damage to the eye, but I could swear that it didn't look that way when she was talking to the EMT. But that could just be that I saw something weird that wasn't meant to be there.
You are orange-brown colorblind. You are orange brown colorblind, you know. So
and we get a couple of post-credit scenes. Mid-credit scene, Deadite Polly is alive and dragging herself down
Dude, when
the road.
when we were barreling toward the third act or in the third act, I kept telling my wife, I'm like, no one showed me Grandma. I haven't seen Grandma die yet. Where's fucking Grandma? I kept saying it, and when we got to the credits, I punched her in the arm. I go, Grandma's fucking coming up. I watch it. And anyway, it was just hilarious.
No, I knew it too, because like when they look back at the house when it's burning and you see where she was like connected to the stair thing and you see the leg that she sawed off, I was like, huh, where's the rest of her?
Okay, another moment that Brev would have done if he was the director, or to work with the actor, and when Grandma was, you know, on her little chair going down the stairs, I would have had her cackling and then did the double bird to Alice as she was disappearing down the stairs. I went like, like you know, an homage to Kingpin, another fantastic movie. Yeah, she's going down the stairs. Like that would have been hilarious. That's me though. So,
well, and
that's like the thing of like the movie is like you could tell the moment the actors get to put on the Deadite makeup, they were having a lot more fun.
Not a bit of scenery was left unchewed.
Yeah, they're like, yes. Now I get to have a lot of fun. Let's do this. So
yes. Mm-hmm. And then we get one final post-credit scene with the mortician, I guess is what you would call her, even though it's a dedicated crematorium.
Funeral home director?
Sure. And her daughter's like, you know, reading off names of urns of ashes that have been left behind. So I don't remember what the names were, but were we supposed to recognize the names?
I know the second one was
one was Ellie from Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah.
Her. That was the important one. The other one is connected to another movie he directed and some character in it, but the female name on it was her from Evil Dead Rise. That's her. That's her name.
And then she appears in the mirror to the little girl and murks the little girl.
Well, that little girl was, am I not correct? That was Stephanie's owner. Wasn't that little girl? Because she said, Mommy's back. Wasn't that blonde, but a few years older? Am I crazy?
I was wondering, actually. I wasn't sure.
I swear that would not make sense otherwise. Like, she says, Mommy's home. Like, what? Anyway. Because she killed her two other kids.
Yeah. No, I was wondering that too. That's honestly what I was thinking, but I wasn't 100%.
And my kids don't eat their dinner. They're going to have the same fate, Scott.
Oh, see, I just
You're going to have someone come out of a mirror and snap their neck?
No, she'll just show up and be like, listen, eat your fucking dinner. Frito chili pie. Who doesn't want to eat it? Oh my God, I don't understand. Oh
my God. I just figured the once I realized who it was, because I didn't make the connection at first and had to look up who Ellie was, because it had been a while since I'd seen Rise. I just thought that it was her playing with the whole role as being Mommy from Rise, and that's why she said Mommy's home. But maybe.
So the thing is, like, go ahead, Daryl.
I was just gonna say I didn't pay that close attention to my rewatch of Rise yesterday in relation to Burn. I was just like, "Hey, Evil Dead Rise is on," and that was good.
So here's the thing: it connects it all back because the movie is Evil Dead Burn, right? And when you burn things, it turns to ash, and then it rises like a phoenix. So it's all back to the X-Men right there. You're welcome.
There you go. And I did not load up the "To Me My X-Men" clip that I have.
Next time I'm on, you need to have that. You know that. So
I do.
Well, I don't. So everybody, I've looked online if there's something I missed. There was nothing we missed because she was wood chipper goo, last time we saw her. So I think there's one of two things. Either there's lore here because the Deadites are now out and they're spreading like a disease. You don't have to read the book no more. Like they're just out.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's turning into a bit of a zombie apocalypse in a way. It's like just starting, right? I don't know how far they'll spread, but you get my point. Or Evil Dead Wrath's already in production and this is planned and they're going to explain it later. And that actress is coming back. That the big rumor is she's going to be the main Deadite in the next movie. It could all be bullshit. I don't know.
So what you're saying is that Ellie will return.
Or they'll explain the time because it's told out of order anyway. So maybe we don't understand where it slots in. I don't know.
Maybe, but it does sound like that Ellie will return in Avengers Doomsday as well.
I'm okay with it. I'm not normally a redhead, and she's
You saw
pretty
where I
hot.
was going.
You're not really a redhead guy, but one of your favorite X-Men is Jean Grey.
Yeah, but not that way.
Well, okay, so speaking of Evil Dead,
Storm is on top. No pun intended, or pun intended. I don't know.
yeah, I know you, Brev. The pun was intended.
There you go.
No, speaking of Evil Dead stuff coming, Brev, I think you would appreciate this. I saw on Threads the other day someone saying, I want to see an Evil Dead movie where the survivor of the previous movie is put on trial for the the deaths.
Yeah, but
Courtroom procedural.
So there's only been 2, Ash and then Mia, whoever beat it and like undeadited themselves, right? They're the only 2 that I can think of, right?
Well, Alice.
Well, Alice survived.
And survived after they're infected or whatever you call it.
Well, they're just talking about they want whoever survived the movie to be put on trial, because who's going to believe? Oh yeah, they were undead monsters.
They got possessed by something from an evil book.
Yeah, I mean, so they're put on trial for the deaths that happened.
Yeah, and Alice is the perfect scapegoat right now, because it's like there's paramedics and police officers there right now. So it's like, we're going to have to take you downtown and have some questions and things like that. And I'm like, if I'm Alice, nobody's taking that fucking knife from me.
No,
I don't
seriously.
care.
Yeah.
I'll stab every motherfucker in the room. Don't take my knife. Trust me. It's the only thing I have to protect myself. Yeah. So.
And, they want to see the chaos ensue that, the book is in evidence or whatever, and somebody reads it.
They read it as part of the official court proceedings.
Yeah. And I was like, well, that could be fun. That could be fun.
But over here having to type it in their notes.
What could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
What could possibly go wrong? But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this movie. Now that I know that Wrath is in production, I'm there. I'm loving what they're doing.
Wrapping. What I just read is wrapping. It's like wrap production, right? It's wrapped production, so they're in post production now.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to come out in a year. I think it's 2027.
I'm good with that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this was out now because it'll hit streaming by Halloween, which is I assume what they want.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it'll hit Max or something. It better be on Max by Halloween, or they're stupid. But
right.
I mean, the Warner Brothers HBO Max window lately has been 45 to 60 days after theater.
Well, there you go.
To hit HBO Max. So
I'm good with
Check it out.
So
okay, so where does it land in your? Where does it land in your Evil Dead love? Like, where does it hit?
So I have a very soft spot in my heart or head for Army of Darkness, because that one is just.
So where's that ranked? Number one? So is that number one?
So I think Army of Darkness is number one, and I think this would be somewhere around 3 or 4, because I liked what Rise did in kind of reinventing the premise of it, in that they took it out of the cabin in the woods. And so I liked that, and so I have a hard time picking right now between the remake in 2013 and Burn. There's a lot more meat on the bones to Burn, but I think that 2013 is a slightly more satisfying through narrative, if that makes sense, for itself. But oddly enough, the original 2 would be at the bottom of my list, because while I do enjoy the goofy campiness, the newer ones I think are better films.
I think it's like trying to compare Jordan and Oscar Robertson. Sorry, non-sports ball fans. That's older and older. But anyway, point just being, I don't know how to compare 1981 to what we just watched. But of the stuff since 2013, it's probably in last place. It's probably in order. Like, I probably like 2013, then Rise, then this. But it still gets an A- for me. I'm not mad at it at all.
Yeah, no, just curious.
I don't think they've missed, and there was a lot of creative stuff in this, and a lot of. I like the lore. I agree. I'm ready for the next one, and I'm glad they just greenlit 2 immediately after the success of Rise. That was nice to see.
Yeah, Rise made a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
People were waiting for that one, like almost 150 million in the opening weekend.
Oh damn, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, like something like that was ridiculous. It made a shit ton of money for like almost no marketing. It's like everybody was waiting. Because, like, Scott, to your point, like 2013, that was a good fucking movie. What happened? Why did we wait so long? And then boom, here it is.
Because it bombed. I think it bombed, and then it turned into a Nickelback situation. I was like, wait, why were we mad at this again? I don't remember. So
I don't like that comparison, but I get what you're saying.
I love it.
I know you do. I
love it. Go away, Bowie.
So I think so. My favorite is still of all the Evil Dead movies, strangely enough, Army of Darkness is the one I've seen the least.
Oh, really?
Well, I guess compared to Evil Dead Burn, that's not fair. I just have seen it once, but I've only seen Rise of Army of Darkness one time. I've seen Evil Dead 2 a lot. Yeah, and I love that. Nice. And then I love Rise because Scott and Tyler, my brother, finally got me to watch Rise because I was very concerned. Of course, Tyler's 2 words were cheese grater, and I was like, oh boy. So I watched that, and I was like, I fucking love this movie. I mean, like, it's gross and horrific and terrifying, but I loved it.
Yeah, it was so sick.
Great. I do like the remake. I do like it. I think it's good. And like we talked about earlier, giving it some emotional weight helped. Rather than there's kids up in the cabin, but the kids up in the cabin being ridiculous is fun. The original is pretty terrifying at times because for me of the I hate to use the word schlock, but it's kind of it's hard to get mad at a 20-year-old for making a movie, right?
Exactly.
So I give it a pass because of that, but it's still really got some really fucking terrifying moments. So yeah. And then probably this one, and then Army of Darkness, because this one just I haven't sat with it long. And Army of Darkness, I do need to give it another shot. It's not that I didn't like it; I enjoyed it. I just never went back. So,
well, Army of Darkness is the one that kind of put all of the movies in the broader pop culture consciousness, I think, because it's the one with this is my boomstick and Hail to the King, baby, and it's the memeable one.
Yeah, it's the one that made it fun for a mainstream audience to go as much mainstream as it to go see it. Whereas because Evil Dead was not a success, the Evil Dead was not a success, and then Evil Dead 2 is just a remake of Evil Dead essentially, and it did okay on video. But Army of Darkness was like a cult classic once it hit video cassette because your older brother rented it and showed it to you, and you're like, this movie's fucking awesome. And then you and your buddies watched it millions of times, like, this is great, and it's awesome. But like, for me, I only saw it once, was like, it's fine. I had a good time, but whatever. But like, again, like, I go back to Megan coming on to the Movie Defenders with Scott doing a BLT when they talked about all these horror movies and the remake of Evil Dead in 2013. They were both like, it's really good, but boy, is it gross and intense. And I was like, all right, I'm going to give it a shot. I watched it. I was like, yes, it was gross and intense, but damn, that was really good.
I liked how the best part was they actually gave a logical reason why you'd be at a cabin.
Yeah.
A logical reason why no one would believe Mia. No one would believe her. It doesn't matter what she says. And then a reason why they won't leave. It all made sense. And then, by the time they wanted to leave, the shit had hit the fan. But anyway, it was logical. With Ash, it's like, okay, we're here because reasons, I guess. Anyway.
Yeah, it was like, that doesn't matter because, we got a movie to do.
Yeah.
And I have you guys to thank for watching the 2013 remake a second time, because I had watched it on cable. I half paid attention to it. And I was like, okay, I've seen it. Fine, whatever. And when you guys did your episode on it, I was like, okay, there is a lot here. Let me go back and watch it again. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good. And I immediately then turned around and watched Rise. So, So I have you guys to thank for
Nice.
for
You're
that.
welcome. So there's a narrative, and Scott loves this narrative and hates it at the same time. He loves it because it gives us a reason to do a show, but he hates it because it's reality. Is once enough of the right people say, I don't know, once enough people say something sucks, then it becomes that it sucks in the consciousness of the popular culture, whether it really sucks or not. And so the whole thesis statement of our show is it didn't suck. A few people didn't like it, and they got really loud fucking voices, and they used them, and you believed them without giving it a chance.
Supergirl.
Exactly. So it's like, yes. And it's like, this is a good movie. What's the problem? No, it's not the original, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. But like, it's like, you can enjoy it. And Donald likes to say this, you know, I'm going to paraphrase him a little bit, but just because the movie's not great, it can still be good.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Not every movie has to be Citizen Kane to be enjoyable. It doesn't mean that it sucks. Yeah, exactly. Casablanca is the greatest screenplay ever written. Don't try to rewrite it, right? So don't even try. So it's like, but a movie can still have a good screenplay and an enjoyable movie without being the best of all time. We've just come in this narrative in this world where it's like, it's either awesome and it's life changing, or it fucking sucks and you should hate it. It's like, no, there's
I was about to say.
Yeah, it has to be in extremes no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing's allowed to stand on its own merits.
Yeah.
And
Scott, I hope I paraphrased our show well.
Absolutely. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds like a perfect segue to tell people where they can find you.
Oh God, I don't know if you'd want to, but if you want to dig up that coffin, no, you can. No, if you're at Facebook or Twitter, we don't do much out there, but Instagram, it's just at Movie Defenders. You can go to moviedefenders.com or moviedefenders.libsyn, libsyn.com for all the shows. But then if you actually, on all the descriptions of all the shows, there's a link tree, and you can get it Spotify or Google Play or wherever Apple, wherever you get your stuff. You can listen to us yammer on and our nonsensical rantings.
And at www.moviedefenders.libsyn.com, that's LIBSYN, you can find all of our 228 previous episodes.
What he does on our show, not me.
What's up, bitches?
Yeah, that's like I gave our How We Roll co-host Robert a little bit of grief when he was on Me and Steve Talk RPGs a month or two back. Robert reads out basically that same part of our promos on our show, and he was having trouble remembering it. It was like, you have one job. But no, he got it all out. But and Movie Defenders is a wonderful show. I put money behind it every month because I think it's a wonderful show.
And we thank you for it.
So
yes.
Nick also puts money behind it. I'm just poor.
It's okay. Give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast thing of choice. So that'd be fine.
Lie.
Yep.
No.
Yes.
And meanwhile, we want to thank everybody for joining us for Casual Nerdity. Thank you, Scott and Brev, for joining us and our little tangents. I think we lost Nick somewhere along the line. Maybe he fell asleep again. But if you're enjoying the show, there are a few easy ways to support us. Leaving a hopefully good review on your podcast platform of choice helps more listeners find us. And if you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe because the algorithms need their fuel. You can also support the show directly by grabbing a t-shirt from our merch store at store.casualnerdity.com. And of course, come hang out with us on social media. We're Casual Nerdity, all one word, on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it today.
I'm going to keep calling it shitter until I die.
And we are casualnerdity.com on Blue Sky. So thanks for listening. Until next time, don't summon anything that you can't chainsaw, and stay nerdy. So long.
This has been Casual Nerdity. We hope you've enjoyed your time with us and look forward to having you back.